Well, hey guys, welcome back to Waters Family Homestead. All right, got 3 armadillos the last night. There's one. I need to get the shovel and throw it off in the woods. There's 2 more over there. The buzzards have been picking at one of them. I don't know why they didn't get the other 2. But anyway, I can't stand them things. They dig up under the foundation of my house, cause problems. So I actually shot 4, but one of them ran, and I'm not sure if he went under the mini barn there or if he kept coming. Either way, I couldn't find him. But that was the first one I shot at. Then I walked out here and found another one up there and another one over there. And then I saw one over here by the raised bed. All 3 of them dug their last under my house. So, all right, I wanted plastic. I don't have any. But I was trying to keep at least some of the rain off of the onions. They are way too wet. As y'all know in the last video, I was asking for help. Tell me whether I need to go ahead and pull them or what. But everybody says it's not time to pull them. So this is what I did. I took a little bit of the weed mat fabric that I've had left. I only had about twice that much. I got a little bit more right there. And I drove in 6 of these 4-foot stakes that were gifted to me. And just to hold it up. So I guess I could pull it tight and tighten it here. I didn't think about that. I've got more zip ties right there. But I know water will go through the weed mat, but a lot of it will run off. And that's what I'm trying to do, is slow down how much water is getting to these onions so they won't rot while they're in the ground. All right, so the squash have gotten plenty of water today, last night and this morning. They're doing really well. There's still a lot in there, y'all. Look, that one's ready to be picked. One of those could be picked. More over here. And that's just these 3 plants here, not including the rest. Look how much the zucchini shot up overnight. That thing's ready to be picked. And there's another one over on that plant that's staring up at me. Let me get over there. I could see it when I was walking past. There it is. Standing up straight at me right there. It's almost ready to be picked. So, anywho. Alright, so here's my goal. That's what I had in mind. And I'm going to say, Mr. Greg suggested that I cover it with something to help block some of the rain. I told him that was exactly what I had in mind. So that's what I've done. I don't know if it's going to help or not, but it can't hurt because we've got more rain in the forecast. It's been quit now for 30 minutes to an hour. And if you look up at the clouds, you see how gray, and I mean, we're going to get more rain. I don't need any right now. My garden beds are saturated. So I was gifted 6-foot poles for trellising. These are 4-foot and they're too short for the net. So I'm going to cut the zip ties that are holding it here that my grandkids helped me do. And since I don't have any grandkids this weekend, and I'm going to put the 6-foot poles in there and try to make it a little bit taller for when the cucumbers and stuff start growing. Like I see squash over there that's ready to be picked. All right, some of y'all said go ahead and dig that whole plot of potatoes, but all of it's not ready. Some of it is close, but there's a lot of tiny potatoes on there. And I don't want the little tiny ones that are, you know, pea size and such. I'm trying to pull this weed out. I try to get by the roots. But anyway, I need to let them go a little longer. Maybe this rain will help them get a little bit bigger. This plant's still mostly green. That one's mostly green. This one is half and half. That's mostly green, half and half. Mostly green, and that one's all green. So I just don't, it's not quite ready to pick. I want it to die back some before I dig them up. And y'all saw I got 3 1/4 pounds off the 3 or 4 little plants that I dug. But there was a lot of little bitty ones in there. And little bitty ones are fine. You can eat them. But why not let them get bigger? So that's what I'm going to do. The white potatoes are just now starting to die back a little bit, so it won't be long before I have to dig those up. Hopefully they'll do a good job this year as well. Y'all know I've never been able to grow root crops at all. Not in this hard ground here. It's 90% clay. And no matter how much soil amendments, compost, I bought topsoil, I've bought compost, I've bought bags and bags and bags of lime and put out there trying to condition that soil, I just can't get it soft enough to grow root crops. So we're going to leave it alone. Now, if I had a tiller that'd go behind a tractor that'd churn it up, that may be different, but hopefully that'll help the onions a little bit, get some of the water off of them. I'm going to get these trellises changed, and then I'm going to pick early peas again. It looks like a bunch of them need it. And I've got my basket out here setting up right there. And I'm going to show y'all one more thing. All right, so this was also gifted, y'all. A couple pump sprayers, tomato booster, soil revitalizer. And you notice I wrote on the bottles so that I didn't mix the two up, and that's all we'll put in those pump sprayers. I used to have 2 or 3 pump sprayers, but when I started working with my brother's heating and air company, we used little 1-gallon pump sprayers like that for coil cleaner to clean air conditioners. And I used all mine for that, and never got them replaced. So that was a good blessing right there. So I'm fixing to get to work. I don't have my camera stand with me, but I'm going to go ahead and start cutting these zip ties that are here and replace them with the 6-foot poles and see if that doesn't help a little bit once we get these things planted in cucumbers and all and start growing up the trellising. That's the idea anyway. So I'll be back in a little bit and show y'all what I've done. All right, guys. Yeah, I got my little sun hat on, even though it's not sun. I'm just keeping the rain off my glasses when it sprinkles. But so I had that on high. I've got them in there. The poles are a little bit taller than I am, or about my height. So that works out perfect. Once I drove it through the cardboard into the ground down there a few inches, it's only about 5-6 inches above the ground level in the raised bed. So I've got to go in the house and get the other bag of zip ties. But I've got the top 3 done and the bottom one here. And I'm probably just going to do one at the top, one at the bottom. So I'll anchor one down here and then another one over there. And then I may take this extra and go back and tie it to the extra from the other one so that it'll be kind of closed in on this side. I don't know. It'd make it hard to get in there, but I don't know. Either way, it's just about perfect, y'all. This would be perfect for a 4x8 bed where these are 3x6. So these things are going to come in incredibly handy. And if you look at the height over here, and then look at the height of the taller poles, man, it just about doubled the height of them. So I've never had anything grow that high except tomato plants years ago in the garden back there. So yeah, that would be phenomenal if that happened. But either way, let me go in the house and get the other zip ties that I need, because I need 8 more, and I've got another pack in the house. And we sell zip ties at work, so I can just get a pack of 100 from work if I needed more, which eventually I will. And then I got to pick these early peas. I'll pick squash later in the day if the weather allows me to. We'll just have to see. But I still got to take care of those dead armadillos and get them out of the way. So, and this video will need editing since it's got some time lapse in there. I don't have much of a choice, so that takes me a little while. I'm just not a computer guru, guys. I wish I could edit and make videos better, but that's just not who I am. I figure it's more important for me to share what I'm doing. I'm gonna flip. to me, it's more important for you to see the garden and see the projects that I do than it is to be staring at me while I'm talking. So I'm going to try to mix this up a little bit more and show more of me in the videos. But that's, to me, that's not the ultimate goal. Yeah, this hat sides flip up and button if I wanted it to. But anyway, let me go get them zip ties, and then I'll get it back out here and put it back on time lapse, and y'all will see me do the other side, and then I'll wrap this thing up. Whoop, get away from my face. See, I'm not good at staring at this thing. All right, guys, there it is. They are pretty close to 6 foot tall. If you count the raised bed, they're well over that. But they're driven in pretty solid. You see it, the net kind of stayed taut. It's not pulled tight. You don't want it that tight. But it's attached, so it should stay there. And hopefully they give the cucumbers and stuff to a place to run up and be easier to manage and take care of. All right, so now I'm gonna show y'all what I got. I brought some scissors out. I'm gonna try to use them when I'm picking those early peas instead of my pocket knife, because usually I just take the pocket knife and cut it off right at the beginning. But I think I'm gonna try the scissors and see how that works. I wish they were smaller, to be honest, but anyway, there's still quite a bit that needs to be picked today. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick those that are ready, and then I'll probably pick again tomorrow evening after we get more of this rain and stuff that's coming through. I can see where some of them are getting to where they need to be, but they're not quite there. So anyway, all right. Somebody said something about my rusted staples. This is actually legs from the tomato cages that I cut off, and I'm turned them into staples because the store-bought staples that I bought aren't thick enough for this hard ground when we've had no rain. If I've had rain, it's not a problem. But if we've not had any rain in a month, this ground gets hard as concrete, and I can't drive them in, they'll bend. So when I hit a spot that's really hard, I pull that one out, straighten it out, and use it somewhere else. But then I use one of these I made out of my tomato cage legs that I cut off and made them shorter. And those will drive right on in most of the time. I've actually had one or two of those bend, but for the most part, that works. So, still got a lot of stakes left. I'm going to leave these here up under the stakes so they won't disappear on me. And I'm going to get to picking early peas. So, that's what I'm doing today. Just hang on a minute. I'm going to put it back on time lapse. All right, guys, about a third as much as I got yesterday. I have not cleaned these off, of course, and pulled the stems off yet, but I will when I get inside. They're nice and fat. So there's several others that are close, but I'll just leave them until I pick next time. I get them in there, I cut the stems off and pull the string out, and then I put them in a Ziploc bag after I washed them off and put them in the freezer. So I'll have Ziploc bags full of fresh early peas that can be cooked whenever I need them. So the squash is still bloomed today, a lot of it, not all of it. But zucchini, boy, that one right there needs picking. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and get it inside and wrap this video up for y'all.